This is your Pac-Man GP. Ladies and gentlemen, I come again with a very interesting and exciting invention. But before we go towards the invention, I would like to first and foremost wish everybody in India a very happy Independence Day, or at least a belated happy Independence Day. We just celebrated our Independence Day on the 15th of August, and it's the 78th year of independence. So a very happy Independence Day to all my fellow Indians and fellow citizens. So on that note, I would like to begin with today's presentation. Without wasting any further time, I'll just present my screen. So, ladies and gentlemen, today's invention is having a title which reads as follows: Utensil Management Device. Now, this is an invention for which a patent has already been granted by the Indian Patent Office. Okay, the credentials of this particular patent, the granted patent for this invention, are on the next slide. So, the patent number is 511794, and the patent has been granted in the name of an educational institute in India, that is the Jaipur Engineering College and Research Center in Rajasthan, in the state of Rajasthan, in India. Okay, so first and foremost, congratulations to the Jaipur Engineering College and Research Center for having a patent granted in their name. And heartiest congratulations to the teaching staff as well as to the students who might have contributed in the inventive step and in the process of conceptualizing this particular invention. So congratulations to everybody. I will move on directly to the invention. Usually what I do is I dwell over what is the problem which the inventor has identified in the prior art. But today I'm going to explain this particular invention in a slightly different manner. I'm going to directly jump to what are the objectives of the present invention, as in what are the objectives which the inventors want to be fulfilled by having this invention, this particular invention in place. So I have sort of narrated at least three objectives which I felt were the most important objectives, because of which the inventors might have felt the need to conceptualize or invent this particular invention. So the first objective is that this is a utensil management device. Okay, so therefore the first objective is to have a device which is capable of holding utensils, which is carrying or which is holding the food of any size, of various sizes, in a very secure sort of a manner. Okay, so therefore it is seen in the prior art that utensils, especially utensils which are having a round bottom and which are large in size, they are susceptible to toppling and spilling over of food, so on and so forth. So holding of the utensils of any size in a very secure manner, that is one of the requirements from the prior art. So that is one of the requirements, or that is one of the needs which the inventors seem to have identified from the prior art. The second objective which the inventors want to be fulfilled is that there has to be a device in place which would provide heating as well as cooling effect to the food items that are present in the utensils for maintaining a particular temperature of the food items. So that is the second objective. And last but not the least, a device has to be in place that is capable of drawing out smoke while the food is getting heated. So we all know when the food is getting heated, there are certain food items that generate a lot of smoke, and the presence of the smoke can be unpleasant to the people who are in the vicinity of the cooking area. So therefore, it is important to flush out or ensure that the smoke is discarded out or drawn out from the cooking area, so that the unpleasantness can be done away with. So these are some of the objectives of the present invention, and to fulfill these objectives, our inventors have conceptualized the present invention. On your left side, we have say a perspective view showing the utensil management device which has been invented by the inventors. So I will narrate each and every feature, each and every component which is relevant to the working of this invention. right from reference numeral 1 over here till reference numeral 8. So at number 1, we have the body. So this is entirely the body of this particular device. Okay, the utensil management device. At number 2, we have motorized wheels. So before I move on, I want to just clarify over here to all the viewers. This invention is predominantly, as we call in the patenting language, we call as a computer related invention. So this invention is basically a computer related invention. It is a microcontroller based invention basically. And what is a microcontroller? It is a computing device, you can say. Not exactly a device, but a computing component, let me call it that way for a lack of better word, which is capable of operating all the components in a particular manner, and therefore acquire the end result that is desired by the user. So basically, it is a computer related invention in the patenting language. That is how we denote such kind of inventions that work on a microcontroller. Okay, and then microcontroller is programmed and configured with a software to function in a particular way, so such that the end result can be acquired, okay, by the user. So coming back to number 2, we have motorized wheels, and these motorized wheels are in signal communication with the microcontroller. The microcontroller is not shown in this diagram. Then at number 3, we have a C-shaped frame. There is a C-shaped frame over here, and at the bottom also, at the top and the bottom. So there is a C-shaped frame. And at number 4, there is a rod that is connecting a set of C-shaped frames on the top and the bottom. We can see the motorized wheels are connected to the bottom C-shaped frame. At number 4, we have the rod, as I mentioned. At number 5, we have the voice recognition unit. Now, this is basically a microphone, and a user can with the help of speaking or with the help of their own voice, they can issue a command to the microcontroller. For example, if a particular food items requires to be heated, then accordingly that kind of a verbal command can be issued by the user, and accordingly the microcontroller will which has been configured to accept such a command will ensure that the end result, that is the heating of the food, will be actually achieved. Okay, so this is the voice recognition unit, which is in signal communication with the microcontroller. At number 6, we have flaps. So these flaps are pivotably arranged with this C-shaped frame, and these flaps are configured with a motor, which is again in signal communication with the same microcontroller, which is configured to ensure that the motor sort of works in a particular manner such that the flaps can be arranged in a manner so that utensils of various sizes can be placed on the flap. Okay, so this is how the first objective of this particular invention is getting fulfilled. So we are having here a device which has been conceptualized or invented by the inventors, which is capable of holding utensils of various sizes in a secure manner, such that they don't topple over, or some kind of accident or spilling over does not take place. Okay, so the flaps, as I mentioned, they are configured with a motor, and the motor actually is configured with the microcontroller. So therefore, when they issue a command saying that okay, there is a mid-size utensil, the voice is recognized by the voice recognition unit, and it is converted into a signal sent to the microcontroller, and accordingly the microcontroller urges the motor to which these flaps which are at number 6, to which the flaps are sort of connected. So the motor is urged by the microcontroller to sort of operate up to an extent such that the flaps are pivoted in this small region over here, so that a mid-sized vessel can be placed on it very comfortably, and it is placed and held in a very secure manner. So this is how the first objective is getting fulfilled. Going on to the second objective, which is that the device should be capable of heating or cooling, or providing a heating effect or a cooling effect to the food items placed in the utensils. So how this is effected? This is effected with the help of these components at number 7, which are the peltier or the peltier units. I hope I've got the pronunciation correct, but for all practical purposes, I'm going to call it peltier unit. So these peltier units are units or components, or you can say devices which are working on the principle called as the peltier effect. So basically, this is falling in the region or in the realm of you can say thermoelectric heating and cooling. So how does the heating or cooling happen here? When the utensil, which is made up of some kind of a metal or a conductive material, when it is placed on the flap, which is at number 6, okay, the flaps also are made of metal or some kind of a conductive material. So there are two conductors which are in connection with each other. Now, when the peltier unit is activated, okay, so how is it activated? Again, it is activated through the voice recognition unit. So the user will issue a verbal command saying that please heat the food. Okay, so therefore heat the food up to 25 degrees Celsius. Okay, so therefore the voice command will be converted into a signal which would be then transmitted to the microcontroller. And from the microcontroller, another signal would come and activate the peltier unit, such that the vessel will act as one conductor, and the flaps, which is also made up of a metal or a conductive material, that will act as a second conductor. And so far as the peltier effect is concerned, it so happens that when such kind of activation takes place of the peltier unit, one conductor uh, acts as a reservoir of heat, and the other conductor, it acts as a de-reservoir, you can say, or acts as a conductor which is removing the heat. So therefore, here in this situation, when the vessel, or when the food is expected to be heated, the vessel acts as a conductor which is conserving, or which is sort of absorbing the heat, whereas the flaps, which are also made up of metal or a conductive material, they act as a conductor which is removing the heat, and this is how heating is affected. So far as cooling is concerned, if at all some warm food is available and it has to be cooled down, so that kind of cooling is affected by the peltier unit in an opposite manner, wherein the flaps now act as the conductors which are absorbing, or which are retaining the heat, whereas the vessel in which the food is kept, and which is required to be cooled down. Okay, so that vessel, it starts removing the heat. So this is how the vessel starts cooling down, and effectively the food inside the vessel also cools down. So this is a very general or a very crude and a preliminary way in which I have made you understand the concept of peltier effect, and how the peltier units 7, which are attached over here near on the C-shaped frames, how they work, how they operate, and how the second objective is therefore fulfilled by this particular device. Okay, now here it is noteworthy that, for example, if the user says that the food has to be heated up to 25 degrees only, okay, not too hot, not too cold. I just want it, sufficiently warm. Let me put it that way. So therefore, there is a temperature sensor which is constantly monitoring the temperature of the vessel. And once the temperature hits 25 degrees Celsius, the audio unit, okay, or maybe let me put it this way, the temperature sensor, it sends a signal to the microcontroller, and the microcontroller, it is again in signal communication with the audio unit. So the signal that is received from the temperature sensor, it is converted into a sound signal, and a sort of a verbal instruction, you can say, or a verbal guideline is issued through the audio unit to the user, saying that the temperature has now reached 25 degrees, and maybe that is an indication to the user to remove the vessel from the flaps. Okay, or to maybe take out the food, and so that they don't become overheated, so on and so forth. So this is how the device ensures that heating and cooling effect to the food item in the utensil is done, and how a temperature is maintained or a desired temperature is maintained for the food. Okay, so that is how the second objective is fulfilled. And last but not the least, there is the third objective, which has been identified, or which the inventors want to be fulfilled, which is that drawing out of the smoke while the food is getting heated. Now at number 8 we have a suction unit. Now this suction unit is connected to a pump which is embedded inside this particular C-shaped frame, and that pump is again configured, or it is in signal communication with the microcontroller. Okay, so there is a sensor which is again not shown here in this diagram, but that sensor, when it detects the smoke, it sends a signal to the smoke sensor, or the smoke sensor, when it detects the smoke, it sends a signal to the microcontroller. Okay, and then the microcontroller activates the pump to suck all the smoke inside. Okay, so such that the air can be cleaned. Okay, that is one way of drawing out the smoke. Another way is again by using the voice recognition unit at number 5. So the user can issue a verbal command saying that please draw out the smoke, okay, or clean up the air, something like that. And the signal the verbal signal will be transmitted to the microcontroller, which will then transmit a further signal to the pump of the suction unit, and the pump is activated, and therefore the smoke is sucked inside. So this is how the smoke is flushed in. So these are the objectives. These are the manners in which the objectives, excuse me, the objectives which have been identified by the inventors are satisfied. And this is your invention for the day. So if you like today's invention, ladies and gentlemen, please subscribe to my channel at the rate of Patman GP. Please like, share, and comment. Please do comment. Please ask questions. I am always more than eager to answer your questions. And please share my videos with all your friends so that we make this a viral channel. Please subscribe to my channel. And this is your Patman GP.